What is going on, IF Warriors? It's your boy Edward V, and today we're going to talk about 3 ways that you can use MCT oil when intermittent fasting. This is extremely important because MCT oil is something that you can use that's very powerful, but if you don't use it correctly, you can basically ruin everything when it comes to intermittent fasting. So I'm going to give you the top 3 ways to use MCT oil when implementing it into your intermittent fasting experience. Stay tuned. Back in October, I made a video about MCT oil, and kind of a little bit before anyone else was making videos about MCT oil. And in the video, I explained the power of MCT oil. I talked about how when you consume MCT oil, it does not get stored as fat. That is a very important point. It moves directly through your blood system into your liver and then gets transferred into ketones and burns immediately, instantaneously, the moment you consume MCT oil. That little particular uniqueness to MCT oil has a lot of people assuming things about MCT oil in which when they're using intermittent fasting, that is incorrect. However, I want to reiterate the fact that MCT oil is fantastic and is my favorite liquid or thing to consume other than water when doing intermittent fasting. The reason why I like MCT oil, it is because it is a medium chain triglycerides, and medium chain triglycerides are used for 2 things. It's either burned immediately for energy or excreted out of your body, but not stored as body fat. So a few things that I'm going to mention in this video is to make you more comfortable with using it and also to allow you to use it in its most effective way when intermittent fasting. So let's move on to number 1. Also, one thing I want to mention is that none of this is in any particular order. All depends on strategically what is best for you. But let's talk about number 1, breaking your fast. You want to go into using MCT oil by using it to break your fast. When you use it to break your fast, you are within the realm of consuming something and not affecting your insulin when fasting. Because here's the thing, although MCT oils cannot be stored as fat, it can still raise your insulin, and then you have a whole plethora of stuff going on that's affecting your fasting. Now, depending on who you speak to, raising your insulin isn't really breaking your fast if you're not storing any body fat. That is not true. I do not agree with that. In my humble opinion, if you raise your insulin, you have broken your fast, because what you're doing when you have your insulin at baseline is continuously using body fat as energy, and that is what you want to stay in. You want to stay in that state, and resetting that or bringing it up and having to bring it back down because you're consuming something during your eating window. For example, one way not to do it is in the morning, way before you're actually going to eat, because then what you're doing is you're raising your insulin in the morning. You're sleeping maybe 7, 8, 9 hours. You're raising your insulin when you wake up because you're consuming some MCT oil, and then you're resetting the process. And remember that post-absorptive range is different for everyone, but it is within that 6 to 12 hour mark, and you don't want to extend that because then you're not going to be fasting effectively. Yeah, you might be doing some caloric control because you're eating all your meals in one shot, but you're not utilizing the benefits of having your insulin at baseline, and that benefit comes from intermittent fasting and being in that post-absorptive range. So no, do not consume MCT oil during your fasting period. Now, to break your fast with it, yes, that's something you can do. The good thing about using MCT oils to break your fast is that it makes your body more metabolic because it's being burned so quickly, because it's going into your body and being burned so quickly. So what ends up happening is everything else is moving according to that as well. You start eating food and your metabolism is working at a higher clip because you just consumed some MCT oil. So everything else that you're about to eat, be it OMAD or, within a 4-hour range or within an 8-hour range, you are going to be at a better position metabolically because you consumed MCT oils before you even started eating. Now let's move on to number 2. MCT oil also works as an appetite suppressant. So if you're one of those people that you eat your food, then you stop eating, and then just in a little bit of time, you'll be hungry again. Well, MCT oil can help you if you eat your food and then right at the end of it, you consume MCT oil. suppressing your hunger is not a bad thing. If you're someone that needs to suppress your hunger, just be strategic about it. Consuming things within your fasting period to suppress hunger, I don't think is the smartest way to go. A lot of people like to consume coffee or consume some type of a drink to suppress their appetite, or even eat an apple to suppress their appetite and feel that they're not breaking their fast. But of course, again, if you ask me, that is breaking your fast. Eating something in preparation for your fast. So let's say you have a 4-hour eating window and your eating window ends at 6:30. You can take MCT oil at 6 o'clock right after you've already eaten your meal, and then moving forward, you'll be suppressing your appetite because it's an appetite suppressant. Also, it absorbs fat soluble nutrients. So the foods that you just ate, you can actually do this in the beginning and the end, but the foods that you ate, it will absorb the fat soluble nutrients from that. Remember, MCT oil is a fatty acid, but it is a very special fatty acid. Unlike all the other ones, coconut oil or olive oil, MCT oil burns immediately, goes into your liver and turns into energy immediately. So it's really, really unique in that way. And at the same time, it's absorbing fat soluble nutrients, so you can use it for the foods that you just ate. It's very, very helpful. Now let's go on to number 3. This is also in conjunction with the fact that you work out after you eat. Personally, I wouldn't recommend to do it when intermittent fasting. I would much rather you go into a workout in a fasted state. That's my personal opinion based on the research that I've done. But if you're a person that has to eat before you go into a workout and you're going to eat your meal, then that's a very good reason to use MCT oil. Let me explain something about MCT oil. I'm going to reiterate this, but it's important. MCT oil can only be used as energy immediately, or if it's not used as energy, it will be extracted from your body. And that's very important, because if you're not doing anything at all and you're not using enough energy to fuel that consumption of the MCT oil, you are going to excrete it out by any means necessary. And a lot of times that means that you are going to poop it out of your body, and it comes out very liquidy, so you want to be very careful. Not only do you want to use it when you're going to start doing something that's energetic, that you're going to expend energy, but you also want to reduce the amount that you take from it. A tablespoon is good, half of a tablespoon. You don't want to dump MCT oil in any type of a cup and drink it, or pour a bunch of it on a frying pan and then fry food with it. The best way to use it, think of it as apple cider vinegar. If you use apple cider vinegar, usually the way that people use apple cider vinegar is just using like a tablespoon of it and then mixing it with water, or then mixing it with other things. You can mix MCT oil with a smoothie. You can mix MCT oil, you can just take the shot with the spoon, like you would do with apple cider vinegar. But the benefit of MCT oil to me over apple cider vinegar in leaps and bounds is the taste. There is none. It is tasteless and odorless. It has no taste, no smell. So it is very, very easy to consume and mix with anything that you want. You can take a tablespoon of that and mix it with a smoothie, and it will not affect the taste, the consistency, or the smell of your smoothie. So please understand that if you take too much MCT oil, it is not going to convert into energy, and that means that you are going to have a very, very uncomfortable situation when you go to the bathroom. Those are the 3 best ways that you can use MCT oil. Once again, do not use it when you're fasting, because it will end your fast if you base breaking your fast on keeping your insulin at baseline. 2, you can use it right before you eat to enhance your metabolic functions before you start consuming your meal. You can use it right after you eat to suppress your appetite right before you break your fast, or you can use it right before you do heavy energy activities, as it will be converted immediately into energy. I wanted to clear that up because I don't want people breaking their fast by using MCT oil, and I want you to know how you can strategically implement MCT oil with all the benefits that it comes with. And I want to thank my patrons for my Patreon, and I'm going to put their names right up here. And of course, I'll see you guys on Wednesday for another FAQ. Peace!